I tested Hostinger's AI Builder and Horizon AI to see if we could actually replace WordPress, which is what I've been using in the past. What I found really surprised me. The sites looked okay. You did have some customization options, but as soon as you wanted to scale it, then things got a little bit messy. If you're thinking about building a website this year, this video could save you a little bit of frustration. So let me show you exactly what happened. So I've been hosting a few of my websites at Hostinger. I think that they're a great service. I think the service runs very smoothly. I think the pricing is very competitive. And recently I wanted to set up my website for Pi the AI Guy. And I wanted something nice and simple. And usually I always lean towards WordPress, which is something that they have built in that you can access directly. However, I figured this time around, why not try some of the additional tools or newer tools that they've been advertising, such as their website builder or Horizon's AI. Now, how do you get started with that? So obviously, you have to go ahead and register your domain, and you have to set everything up, set up your account. I won't go through any of that. There's plenty of videos out there that are covering that. But basically, once you have everything set up with your domain, your account, and you're ready to go, well, all you have to do is follow a couple of these domain checklist items and get started. So you'll see here in the domain overview, you'll have this domain checklist. And the second item here is to create or migrate your website. And all you have to do is click Get Started, and it will take you to the next step. Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to migrate your website or create one? In this case, I want to create a brand new website. So you select the option. Again, it's a very nice wizard. You just go step by step. And right away, you're presented with three options. And usually, I would pick the first option, WordPress. I'm very comfortable with it. There's a lot of customizations, plugins, tons of flexibility, but you do need some know-how with it. So I wanted to go with Website Builder and Horizons and see exactly what they have to offer. So the way they describe it is that your website builder is the beginner-friendly option. Once you create something, you can use certain prompts and so on, but you are presented with a drag and drop editor, and it should be nice and easy to set everything up and get going. Now, for Horizons, this is purely prompt-based, so it's a much more complex setup. However, what they are claiming is that you can use their Horizons AI to simply chat with it and get exactly what you wanted. So we'll go ahead and try both of these and see what we get as a result. So let's select the website builder option and click on Next. From there, you'll be asked what domain or subdomain you'd like to use, and you'll be presented with a list. You can also use a temporary domain. So for the sake of this presentation, we can use a temporary domain, and you're presented with the AI prompt window inside of Hostinger. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. You can right away start to describe your website and execute that prompt. You can use some of these options here right away. So create a business website, start a blog, and so on and so forth. Or they do have certain pre-made templates that you can start off with. The templates were actually not that bad. I won't go through that because I actually wanted to play with the AI portion of it. Now, typically, whenever I'm presented with a prompt window, yes, you can go right ahead and type in your prompts, but personally, I prefer to use a ChatGPT or Google Gemini to help me build a better prompt. So we can jump into ChatGPT and start building that initial prompt. Now, for the sake of time, I had already executed a few prompts here, so we can just go through it to see what my method is. So the first thing I want to do is to ask a couple of questions to make sure that ChatGPT knows exactly where I'm going to go with my prompts. So one simple way to do this is to simply ask ChatGPT if they're familiar with Hostinger Website Builder in this case. And obviously, any other tool that you're using, you can just simply replace it with that. And this does a couple of things. It makes sure that ChatGPT knows exactly the context of the prompts that will follow. And of course, it's also a double check. Sometimes ChatGPT can make a mistake and think that, hosting or website builder is a completely different tool. So asking a question like this will actually give you a decent output. And in this case, the response is that yes, it's a solid option, and it gives you some details on what it is. And you can double check this to make sure that the information is accurate. I like the fact that it actually gave some pros and cons. And one of the pros, and I definitely agree with this, is speed and the fact that you can get your website ready and published fairly quickly. Of course, the built-in hosting, we talked about how good Hostinger is as a host. So that's fantastic. And you go down to some of the limitations, and of course, we'll see the customization issues, the scalability, and so on and so forth. And it's actually pretty interesting to see this, because that's exactly what I experienced as I went through my first setup. Now, once this is completely set up and you have the initial response, what I went ahead and added was an actual prompt of what I wanted to create. And in my case, I wanted to build a website using Hostinger's AI, attach an example so you can find a couple of reference photos, just take snapshots of them and add them in. And, I wanted something simple, just a landing page, menu on the left, for example. I listed a couple of pages I actually wanted to have, maybe CTA to join an email list, pretty much, just basic requirements, really, really, minimal, but just listed these out for ChatGPT. Now, before submitting the prompt, I always ask ChatGPT the following question. Before responding, ask me 5 questions to improve your output. It takes a look at what I have submitted as a requirement. It knows the context. It's because I want to build a website. And it goes ahead and asks me a few questions. And some of these I really had not thought about. And usually that's the case. So I can go ahead and provide the answers to the number of questions that were put forth. And you go ahead and you submit that, and ChatGPT goes ahead and creates this detailed prompt with everything that was listed aimed at the Hostinger AI. So once everything is done, you simply click on copy and you can use this prompt. So now that we have our prompt, we can head back to the Hostinger website builder. And where it says describe your website or business, we can go ahead and paste this detailed prompt that we generated. So that was pretty fast. Actually, that took maybe 30 seconds. And I do have a website. I can see they put a logo here. They put a couple of items. I did mention that I wanted to have a blog. I wanted to have my latest posts accessible as well. It did put a little section at the top about me. It did create some little cards here that I can go ahead and update later. I had not asked for that at all, but here we are. And finally, there's the email list where I guess I can enter an email address, click join now. And of course, there's a footer with some social details and some placeholder text for contact information and so on. Now, what's very interesting here is that, and this is what was extremely frustrating when I went through this the first time, is that through the website builder, this is pretty much the format that you'll be able to get, or at least I haven't figured out any way to take it beyond this. I had specifically asked for a left sidebar, and it simply can't do that. It just simply has a header section, and this is all you can do. If we click on continue here, now I'm presented with the website builder interface where I can drag and drop and click certain items and make changes. So if I want to generate another image, I can come and click generate. Now you're presented, with a get started now, start your journey, update the image, and then you can go and edit your heading text. So for example, if I come here, I can change this text color. I can, make it orange color or something like that, or I can pick a color and add it. And if we go to styles here, you can see, yes, it is added there. It's used only once, and you can come and change this color to something else and accept. And yes, it will update it and move forward from there. But one thing that I thought was very cumbersome was the fact that you have your colors that are here. And for example, the color white has been used 50 times. And I can go ahead and change this. So for example, I want my background to change to black. I can make that modification and it will apply it throughout the site, which is great, except that it will also change other elements like my fonts to black. Now, why is that a problem, you say? Well, the problem is that when I went to fonts and I edit text styles, there are no colors here. So I can't make that modification and then come and update it here in one shot for, let's say, all of my headings. I have to go ahead and select every single piece of text and every single button, anything that's using that color white. I have to first edit all of that, make it something different, and then go ahead and change that style. And I mean, all they had to do was to add colors here as well. There are some additional functionalities. You can obviously, edit your blog and add blog posts and so on. You can add a rudimentary storefront to your site. There's some SEO functionality as well, but nothing that really comes close at all to what WordPress does. But what really stopped me completely is that I had a specific vision in mind for the website. And I really, really wanted my menu to be on the left side. And as dumb as that may sound, they do not have any option like this. I mean, you can come here and try to add a new section, and really there is no option of having a menu on the side. They're really locked into certain basic things, and I understand why. It's really built for speed, but not made for customization. So we can go back and try to create a new website here again. So we go back to the same steps. You select your domain, you say get started, and now you want to build a new website. Let's, in this case, select Horizons. Click on next, and from there you're presented a completely different window. Again, you always have the prompt, but in addition here, you can actually upload images. This was something that was not available in the website builder. There's simply no way to actually add your reference photos. So this is actually great. So I can go ahead and maybe add a reference photo here. They do have some pre-made templates that you can select from. So it is a little bit more detailed, but let's go ahead and add exactly that same prompt that we had generated and see how this one does. So let's go ahead and execute this. Oh, and of course it loves this vision. It's a sleek cyberpunk-inspired landing page for Pi the AI guy with a sidebar navigation, hopefully on the left side, integrated blog system, newsletter sign up, and YouTube integration. This is going to look sharp. I can't wait to see what comes out of it. This service of theirs is not completely free. So when you're generating your website for the first time, you can go ahead and just give it a prompt and move forward with it and get something up and running. But as you want to proceed and update the site, you definitely have to go ahead and work with the AI. You have to keep on adding certain prompts. So, hey, can you update the header fonts to X? And hey, can you change the color to that? And can you add a different page and so on? And at some point, you'll be running out of tokens and you'll have to start paying for the usage. So just be aware of that. It's not going to be just simply free like it would be with, let's say, your free version of ChatGPT or something like that. At some point, you will hit that paywall. And we're done. It took about maybe between 5 to 10 minutes. And this is what was generated. Again, my menu is on the left. It has the latest posts. A couple of items here. It does have some cyberpunk colors, I guess, some neons and so on. My latest posts, the blogs, the homepage, for some reason, this is the photo that it generated. I have absolutely no idea why. It did create actually some interesting content. Obviously, I would have to edit all of this, but at least it's a little bit more than what their website builder actually built. So you can see as next steps, it has asked me a couple of questions. Would you like me to integrate your newsletter with MailerLite or MailChimp? Want to customize the YouTube section to pull your actual latest videos, any adjustments to the color scheme or layout. So you can go ahead and actually work off of this and build it out a little bit more. From here, obviously, this is the preview window, but you can click on edit content and make certain changes. As soon as I click here, I can make some changes and click on save, and it will go ahead and add it. You can always switch to code view as well. You can come in here and play around with the code itself. But let's go back to the preview here. It's not that bad, but it's not fantastic. So maybe we can go ahead and edit some of this content a little bit more. So let's try using the AI to edit the content a little bit just to see how that works. Let's do something very simple. Change the left sidebar menu to one that is collapsible and give it a black background. Let's see how this does. Okay, it's done. And believe it or not, for that change, and again, I'm not saying that it was that simple of a change. It did a pretty cool job. It added these interesting animations. I like how shrinking it just goes to pi and it has a little glow in the back and so on. It's interesting, but that took 5 minutes. So it's not necessarily that fast, but it did a decent job. I must say it definitely did a decent job. One thing to keep in mind is that at this point, unless you're just doing basic edits directly onto the screen here, or you're actually jumping into the code, you don't have the convenience of any form of drag and drop tools or anything like that. And I think that's where it will become difficult to work with, because you don't have the simplicity unless you're purely working with the AI. And that means that pretty quickly you'll start being charged for any specific changes that you want on your site. Overall, I think both the website builder and Horizons are interesting, but I don't think they're there yet. The AI really gives you a starting point, but it does take some time, and you can definitely get stuck, especially as you saw with the website builder. You do get stuck unless you want something that's really basic. You will not be able to do much with it, but you'll be up and running fairly quickly with a very rigid website. The speed doesn't necessarily matter. For me, it's much more important to have that flexibility. So generating a website in 10 minutes, that's not exactly what I want, and then spending hours and hours prompting back and forth with an AI to try to set it up, and each prompt taking sometimes 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on the complexity. It's just frustrating staring at the screen. Whereas with WordPress, you could just go purchase a theme that kind of looks like what your end product will be and work directly off of that. Make whatever changes that you'd like with full control of the site. And again, without necessarily the need to know any of the coding. If you know coding, then wonderful. You might get your site up and running with Horizons and then skip that whole AI prompting portion of it and just finish the website with coding. But that's not an option for everybody. And for me, after trying Website Builder and after trying Horizons, I'll probably just stick to WordPress, make it exactly what I want the end product to be. Now, why is WordPress still better, at least for me? Well, you have ownership of your files. You can migrate anytime. You have complete control of what you're setting up. You have options of using different plugins. It gives you so much to work with. You have the scalability where you can really start simple and then just grow from there. And of course, you can use AI alongside WordPress, and that could be another video that I will post once I start building the Pi the AI Guy website. I'm going to try to use AI to actually customize and set up my WordPress site. So please make sure you like this video and click on subscribe to see my future videos. Any feedback that you have will definitely be helpful, and I'll do my best to bring future content that will help each and every one of you who are just starting out, whether you're building a website, a web application, mobile phone application. Let me know your thoughts as well. Please comment below if you've had better luck working with the website builder of Hostinger or Horizons, or any of the other AI tools that help you create websites. I would love to hear from you. So please drop a comment below so we can get the discussion going.